You want to say hi? Get up here. Get up here. Up here. Look it. Say hi. Look it. Right there. Right here. Look at my hand. Oh, whatever. All right. Right now, you are about to watch the Transportation Committee meeting part of SB 1392 that was held tonight. Today is June 29th. I'm so excited. June 29th, 2026, and it's about 9:30 right now. The meeting just adjourned, and this is going to be the complete discussion on SB 1392. Before we get into that video, please hit that like button, subscribe, check out the video library for a ton of automotive helpful DIY videos and emissions deregulations videos. While you're watching, please comment below and let me know what you think about this bill. Let me know what you think about the opposition or the proponents, what their opinions are. If this is going to benefit you, your neighbor, or anybody you know. I just uploaded a video explaining my take on it or what happened. And if you want to watch that, look on that little, or click on that little link up there. Here we go. This is going to be the committee meeting on SB 1392, Transportation Committee meeting on June 29th, about 9 o'clock. That's right now. Here we go.
Moving on to item number 17, Yeah, 17, SB 1392. All right, you may begin. Oh, second. All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members. I appreciate the opportunity to present SB 1392, Leno's Law, which we think is a common sense update to California's existing smog exemption statute. And this is a bill that I joint authored with Senator Grove. You may remember there was a predecessor bill last year. I want to start off by thanking the chair and committee staff for working on this. Again, I wasn't the author last year. I was a co-author, but I was quite aware and participated in some of the kind of heavy lifting and work that was done by this committee and the guidance of the chair, which is, again, much appreciated. With the chair's support, I want to continue discussing the committee's proposed amendment on page 4 of the analysis of the bill as it moves forward to appropriations. We understand what the committee is calling out. We think appropriations is probably the best place to deal with that because of perhaps beneficial cost implications in terms of the movement of the bill. Last year, this committee heard SB 712, which I was referring to a moment ago. That was a broader bill. It was a broader group of vehicles in a little bit of a different set of smog requirements. SB 1392 is narrower. The bill updates the existing smog exemption by extending it from 1975 to 1980, 5 years, and by creating a limited exemption for eligible collector motor vehicles from model years 81 through 86, a second 5 years. So there's a 5-year tranche and then sort of a waterfall 1 year at a time of another 5 years, not exceeding 10 years. That's what's covered in the bill. To qualify, these collector vehicles must be used primarily for display, preservation, educational, or similar purposes, and must either be driven less than 1,000 miles or less per year, or be covered by collector's car insurance. So they're very much validated as collector cars. The collector car definition is in the bill. You could see it in the analysis as well, I believe, but you could point to it in the bill. It is where in that section 259 of the code, you can see what a collector car is defined to be. So these are not daily drivers. These are not, vehicles that, people are putting 100,000 miles a year on or anything like that. They're very much described as what we used to call show car vehicles. Air quality advocates are concerned about the environmental impact of the bill. Based on the Bureau of Automotive Repair annual reports from 2024 and 2025, less than 1% of California's registered vehicles fall within the model year range covered by this bill, so the overall model year range. Only a fraction of those vehicles would qualify as a collector car under SB 1392. Between the 1,000-mile cap, the requirement that cars be used primarily for charities, parades, and shows, consistent with Section 259. SB 1392 will address a small population of usually meticulously maintained vehicles. I'd like to introduce our witnesses. Francine Mata with the Sacramento Lowriders card, and to my immediate left, Victor Munoz of SEMA. At the appropriate time, I respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Go ahead.
All right. Good evening, Chair Wilson and members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Victor Munoz with the Specialty Equipment Market Association, also known as SEMA. We are proud co-sponsors of SB 1392, also known as Leno's Law. Thank you to the authors, Senator Cortese and Grove, for their hard work on this bill and 712 before it. SEMA represents 1,500 automotive aftermarket companies here in California. Our members employ 150,000 Californians, fueling the $40 billion aftermarket economy here. This bill is not about daily drivers. As the senator mentioned, the definition of collector vehicles requires them to be used primarily for shows, parades, charitable functions, and historical exhibitions. And as you will hear soon, they're an integral part of community building and community events as well. SEMA is proud to help keep vehicles legal and emissions compliant. We do a lot of work with our SEMA garage and Diamond Bar here in California, working directly with CARB and EPA to test and certify aftermarket parts. So emission is first and foremost in what we do. SB 712 by Senator Grove last year passed this committee 14-0 last year. And now SB 1392, which is a bit more narrower, helps preserve California's automotive heritage for the next generation of classic car enthusiasts. I respectfully urge your support of SB 1392, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Francine Mata, President and co-founder of the Sacramento Lowrider Commission, also President and co-founder of the California Lowrider Alliance, which has 35 cities in it. I proudly support SB 1392 because lowriders and classic cars are more than vehicles. For me, they're art on wheels, and each one tells a story. I own two personally cars that I love, and it's a form of mental health for me that, I get my time away. It tells our story of our California history, culture, and the generations who built it. Every classic make and model has a story to tell. Our car culture is about family, unity, tradition. It brings together people of every age, culture, and socioeconomic background through a shared passion and respect for automotive history. We've broken barriers by bringing lowrider culture and classic cars to major events like the California Love Exhibit, which had 200,000 visitors at the California State Fair last year. This past weekend, we partnered with the X Games, never happened, groundbreaking, and we're going to Japan, which is amazing. These events strengthen communities, create partnerships, they support small businesses, artists, and vendors, and contribute to California's economy. SB 1392 helps preserve this important legacy for future generations. So on behalf of the Sacramento Lowrider Commission, the California Lowrider Alliance, and the families we represent statewide, I respectfully ask for your yes vote. Thank you, and I'm also available if you need any questions answered.
Thank you. Moving to members of the public who would like to add on and register their support for this bill, name, affiliation, and position.
Clifton Wilson on behalf of San Joaquin County Supervisor Robert Rickman in support. Thank you.
Good evening, Scott Cox on behalf of Valley Clean Air Now in support.
All right. Moving on now to opposition. We do have opposition witnesses. You may come forward. Thank you.
Madam Chair and members, Brendan Tuig on behalf of the California Air Pollution Control Officers Association. That's the air pollution control officers from all 35 local air districts respectfully opposed to the bill. Local air districts don't administer the smog check program, but we're supporters because it's an equitable way of achieving emissions reductions essential to meeting federal clean air standards, health-based standards, which is much more difficult now with the federal rollbacks. And while we appreciate California's rich automotive heritage, unfortunately, this bill will substantially increase air pollution and harm public health. First, the bill changes the definition of collector motor vehicles to remove the requirement that owners actually be collectors. On top of that, whether a car is a collector is largely self-defined. The bill allows exemptions from the program if an owner obtains collector car insurance and then says to themselves, the vehicle will be used primarily in shows, parades, charitable functions, and historical exhibitions. So with the words primarily and primary and little accountability associated with collector car insurance, it's basically 10 years of old cars that could use this as a loophole. Hagerty, a major insurer of collector vehicles, says that around 43 million cars in the United States would fit their definition of a collector vehicle. So Hagerty also has a relatively high mileage limit of 7,500 miles a year. California Air Resources Board data shows a 1982 passenger car that passes smog, would emit approximately 123 times the NOx emissions of a 2025 car. If the 1982 car is driven just 7,500 miles a year, which is the Hagerty limit allowed under this bill, at 123 times the NOx emissions, it's equivalent of a 2025 car being driven 922,500 miles a year. And so just to give you an idea, too, is that while there are only about 8,200 1982 cars, if they were all on the road in one day, and they may not, of course, but just to
and we'll have to have you wrap up with that.
Yeah, for sure. That would be the equivalent of over 1 million 2025 cars. So we're concerned about tampering and the relaxation of these requirements. And thank you for your indulgence, Madam Chair and members.
Thank you.
Good evening. Bill McGavin with the Coalition for Clean Air in opposition. California still, unfortunately, has by far the worst air pollution in the country. We are way in violation of federal and state health-based standards for both smog or ozone and soot or fine particulate matter. Transportation is the largest source by far of that air pollution. And so Smog Check is a key program for trying to reduce those pollutants. And unfortunately, it is the oldest cars that are almost always the most polluting. They did not have the benefit when initially sold of having the kind of emission controls that we have now, and those controls tend to degrade over time. So according to CARB data, if you exempt a vehicle in the 76 to 85 time period, you'll have emissions of NOx, oxides of nitrogen, equivalent to adding 30 model year 2020 vehicles. So that's why we're concerned about the lack of controls and enforcement in this definition of classic car. It's not that we have any problem with classic cars. It's just that it could open a loophole to allow a lot more pollution into our air that we cannot afford for health reasons. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to members of the public who would like to note their opposition, name, affiliation, and position.
Good evening, Chair and members. Rebecca Marcus, in opposition on behalf of the following organizations: the Union of Concerned Scientists, the Natural Resources Defense Council, California Environmental Voters, Families Advocating for Chemical and Toxic Safety, Sierra Club California, the Environmental Protection Information Center, the Regional Asthma Management and Prevention Center, and the San Francisco Bay Physicians for Social Responsibility. Thank you.
Benjamin Liu, American Lung Association, respectful opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to members of the committee. Seeing none, we have a motion by, let me find where it is. There we go. Sorry, wrong page. Davies and Sharp Collins. So I want to thank the author for bringing this forward, this bipartisan measure. As was noted, it was heard and passed out of this committee last time in a bipartisan factor. One thing that was noted from the proponents of the bill is that California has a vibrant automobile culture. And one thing that was noted from those in opposition to the bill, it's also home to some of the worst air quality in this country. And so this bill creates a narrow exemption to provide relief from the state's required a smog check program to owners of specified collector vehicles. And I appreciate the author's work to find a balance between supporting car enthusiasts while maintaining the safeguards in place to protect the public from air pollution, which is why I strongly encourage the amends to be taken in appropriations, because it does limit the miles driven, as was on display through the opponent's testimony. And so I will be supporting your bill today. You do enjoy a motion and a second, so I'll give you an opportunity to close.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, this is, as you said just now in your remarks, and as I think I said earlier, and the witnesses in support said, this is a very narrowly tailored bill. We support the smog compliance program. We support the overall program that the Bureau of Automotive Repairs requires on cars in general. 1975 for someone like me doesn't seem that long ago. It doesn't. But in 1975 was 51 years ago. 1980, the year that we're trying to take this up to, was 46 years ago. If in 1975, that's the last year of exemption currently, we all subtracted 46 years, what we would be told perhaps is that we should continue to hold cars that were made in 1929 to the emission standards of 1929. It actually makes no sense to hold these 1976 vehicles to the emission standards of 1976. You can go through vehicle sale after vehicle sale after vehicle sale of vehicles that have been modified, and they're getting 2 times the fuel efficiency now because they were allowed to put in a motor that's based on 2026 technology. They're usually fuel injected. They don't have carburetors anymore. It's actually beneficial to have that modified car on the road, but you'd never be able to get a smog compliance certificate on that car. Why? Because the modification wouldn't be allowed. So this is, I think, an appropriate adjustment or correction. 5 years, and then this waterfall, if you will, of 1 year after each of those 5 years, only up to 10 years, we stop. And when we get to that point, it'll be even more years ago. So I just respectfully ask for your aye vote, and thank you again for all of your support.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
SB 1392, due pass to the Appropriations Committee. Wilson.
Aye.
Wilson, aye. Davies. Davies, aye. Aguiar Curry. Aguiar Curry, aye. Aaron's. Aaron's, aye. Carrillo. Carrillo, aye. Harabedian. Harabedian, aye. Hart. Hart not voting. Hoover. Jackson. Jackson, aye. Lackey. Macedo. Pappen. Pappen, aye. Ransom. Ransom, aye. Rogers. Rogers not voting. Sharp Collins. Sharp Collins, aye. Ward. Ward, aye.
All right, that bill will hold the roll open for members to be able to add on. Before we move on, I would instead of taking a recess, given the fact that members would kill me if I delayed this. Kidding. I'm gonna go back to item number 12, so we can have a conversation, that is SB 1156 Caballero, to be presented by Assemblymember Ahrens, and I'm going to pass the gavel to. Did she leave? Oh, there she goes. Sorry, your green was matching the chair. To Vice Chair Davies. Thanks.